Rudy? Nope, you're okay with everything? Good, good, good. So we're okay now with those words person, which means broker dealer, corporation, an adult that can open up a brokerage account, a city that could issue municipal bonds. That's a person. Now don't forget the three categories that were not persons. Juan, by any chance, do you remember the three entities that were not considered persons? They cannot open up a brokerage account. They can't buy and sell securities. Juan, do you remember one of those categories?
A minor.
That's right. 10-year-old can't open up a brokerage account, so they're not a person in that sense now, right? Now, just heard, I think I might have mentioned yesterday, Jesse Jackson passed away, right? So Jesse is not going to open up a brokerage account anywhere now, right? His soul is gone to heaven, and he's doing his thing up there with God, but he can't open up a brokerage account. So a deceased person can. And there's one other entity that cannot, and it's someone who is incapacitated. You got somebody in the hospital and they're on a ventilator machine. You can't talk to them about investing, right? So that acronym is MID. Minor, incompetent, deceased. So those three are not persons. Okay, everybody else can invest. Now, be careful with the minor, because there's this concept, we're going to talk about it later, but there's a concept called uniform transfer to minor's account. You heard about that one? Remember that one from your SIE days? Well, it is an account for a minor, but the minor doesn't open it. So it takes, the father, the mother, uncle, the aunt, the sister, who's an adult now, right? Who's an adult. They can open up the account, but it does belong to the minor, right? That's why it's called uniform transfer to minor's account. It is called UTME. Uniform transfer to minor's account. So it does belong to the minor, but the minor doesn't open it up. So that's a little different. But normally a 10-year-old, 12-year-old can't walk into a brokerage account and say, hey, I want to short sell some stock. I want to buy some mutual fund shares. They can't do that. Right? Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the three categories of it, or four categories actually, of investors. Everybody remember the four categories of investors? So Rudy, you kind of nodded your head like you might remember two of them. Maybe all four?
No, maybe I'll give you two. Let's see.
Retail.
The type of investors?
Yeah, so four categories. There was the regular investor. Remember we had said the guy who can only buy mutual fund shares, right? He can't buy
accredited
stuff.
Right.
Accredited.
So that's the
regular
everyday
one.
working stiff. He teaches Series 26, right? So that's just the average person. Okay. Then we had three other categories. Now they were kind of special. Remember what one of them was?
Accredited.
It was I want to say qualified, but
that's
no.
right. A qualified
It is qualified, right?
purchaser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Qualified purchaser. There you go. Qualified purchaser. Qualified client.
That's right. That's two distinctions, all right?
Yeah.
Now, one, the qualified purchaser means he's already bought $5 million or more of stocks. He's already in the game, all right? So he's out there looking for some more big-time investments. So, he's probably not interested in mutual funds, right? Just like I couldn't buy what he could buy, right? He can get into those risky investments. So he's the qualified purchaser. Now, that qualified client, that's the guy who's got 1.1 million invested with an investment advisor already. So he's in the market now, right? But that investment advisor and he will have an agreement where the investment advisor gets a piece of the action instead of getting an hourly rate to do a financial plan, a percentage of all the assets that he might be watching.
Are you on?
So he'll say, hey, pal, if your investments make 30%, I want to get 20% of that 30%. So pay me an extra 6%. So see, that's a qualified client. See, that's a little bit different talking about a qualified purchaser.
Okay, I'll be right there.
And the investment advisor. Then there was another category, the fourth one. Anybody remember the fourth one?
Before you go to the next one, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So he already have $1.1 million invested
under assets under management. So the advisor is watching that for him already.
Okay.
All right. Now the investment advisor says, "Hey, buddy, I'm doing a good job for you.
He calling on me
I want a
already.
little piece of the rate of return that your investment makes.
Okay.
Now he's going to have to sign an agreement with the investment advisor. That would make him a qualified client.
Got it. Thank you.
See the distinction? So we're just talking about a person who has an agreement with the investment advisor. That makes him a qualified client. Because normally investment advisors don't get paid that way. They look at the total portfolio that they're watching, and they get a little piece of everything, not just a piece of the return on a particular investment. But a qualified client could agree to that. See the distinction with qualified client versus qualified purchaser? Okay. And the fourth category, anybody remember the fourth category? Somebody said it.
Accredited investor.
Accredited investor. And this guy's got to qualify to be able to buy some risky investments. So he's going to have a certain amount of income if he's a single person. Remember how much that dollar amount was?
200 million?
That's right. Not 200 million. Not 200 million. He's a qualified purchaser there, right? Not quite that much, but you're close. 200,000. We will knock off 3 zeros there, right? Knock off 3 zeros. So 200,000 of income if he's single or she's single, or if they're married, 300,000. Now, if they don't qualify with income, they can qualify by net worth, all the assets that they own, excluding their home. How much would that have to be?
$1 million.
1 million. That's right. 1 million. No, 1 million. Right. 1 million. 1 million. Almost always, with those three categories of accredited investor, qualified client, qualified purchaser, you exclude your home. You exclude them. See, because they want to be sure you can invest money, and if the investments tank, you don't lose your house now, right? Right? You don't lose your house. Because that happened during the Depression. People lost everything. Yeah, so they want to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, good stuff. So that's our investors now. So just be careful with that. Okay, we talked about contractual plans. Silva, by any chance, do you remember contractual plans?
No.
No? Okay, that's all right, because we talked about a lot yesterday. We really did. Ruth? Contractual plan. Tracy? Contractual plan?
They make payments over spend.
Very good. Yeah, that's right. It's a type of investment company. Now, there were three categories for investment companies. One was called face amount certificate. One was called managed investment company. That's the mutual fund. But there was that other one called unit investment trust, which also goes by the name contractual plan. And that's where the little guy says, hey, I don't have 10 grand I could put in, but I could invest $25 every week, so $100 a month. So he signs a contract. That's why it's called contractual plan. He signs a contract. He's not bound to it now, right? They can't make him complete it, but it's a psychological hook, kind of like when you sell life insurance. Somebody says, yeah, take it out of my checking account. Look it, you got that psychological hook. Couldn't they close down their checking account if they wanted to? Yeah. Couldn't they say, no, I want to pay it quarterly? Couldn't they do that? Yeah. But it's a psychological hook. So when he signs the contract, he says, yeah, I can put in $100 every month for the next 10 years. That's a $12,000 investment he's going to make. He's just doing it in small payments. And so now the sales charge on that over the lifetime
9%.
not 8.5%. That's right. See, 8.5% is for the mutual funds. But this is a UIT, contractual plan. So it's a little bit more, because see, he's making monthly payments, right? So it's a little bit more work to keep track of that, right? So since it's more work to keep track of it, you charge the investor a little bit more. So it's 9% is the sales charge over the lifetime. Then under the...
For the UIT?
That's right, for the UIT. That's the lifetime maximum. So if he signed up for a $12,000 time period to invest in 10 years, all right? $100 every month for 10 years. Then they could take 9% of $12,000. But they do it over a period of time because he's a small investor. He's not putting in 12 grand lump sum, correct? So they look at how much he's putting in every month. So
That's
under the
called a spread load.
that's if the company started after what year?
1970.
That's right. Spread load act. So spread it out over a longer period of time. So they take out a little bit less every check. So it's 20%. Now, I was kidding yesterday and said everything started with the letter S. 1970, they call it spread load. The maximum sales charge the first year, 20. Right? Made that up yesterday, right? So everything starts with the letter S. But if the unit investment trust started in 1940,
50%.
they could take 50% the first year. That's right. See, so they'd have to tell you which year the contractual plan started. All right, so we had talked about all that good stuff. Now we had talked about red money and blue money. So we're okay with that concept. The red money, you're starting an investment with money on which you've already paid the taxes now, right? Now the technical name is not red money, of course, it's cost basis. So when you get that back from your investment, you don't pay taxes on that, only on the growth portion. We had some investments that were tax-free now, right? Always tax-free. Anybody remember maybe 2 or 3 of those? Les, by any chance, by any chance, you remember a couple of them that were tax-free?
No, I'm sorry.
No, Christopher? This is good. Now we're just reviewing. Christopher? Adela, by any chance? Yeah, yeah. Can you name one of them? Tax-free. An investment that gives you something back that's tax-free. Let me give you a clue.
Muni.
I'm thinking about a Roth IRA.
That's right. Very good. After what age?
Well, it's 69 and a half unless
That's close. Now that's close now. You're close. Not quite that old.
9.5.
Yeah, 59 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, 59. I know. See, that's so far away for you folks. See, I'm approaching the big 80 here, right? Another year and a half here. So, but for you guys, you're 20 years old, 30 years old. So 59 and a half. Doesn't that seem like it's centuries away for you?
Nope.
It seems like it's a long ways away, but believe me, I remember when I was your age, all right? And all of a sudden, bingo, I zipped right past 59 and a half. I was wondering, boy, I passed 59 and a half a long time ago. But
you look good, though.
Well, thank you. This is what keeps me, my brain fresh. It keeps it going because I got to help people pass these tests, and you guys keep shooting questions at me. Got to make sure I'm on my toes, right? So, yeah, the Roth IRA is one.
Oh, muni bonds.
That's right. Municipal bond interest is tax-free. That's right. Now, we're talking federal taxation because only about 9 or 10 states don't have a state income tax. California's not one of them. California's got 13.3%. I think it's the highest in the country. I think California.
I don't doubt it.
It's pretty high, yeah. But it's a good state to live in. The weather is wonderful out there. So, there's always trade-offs, right? I live down here in Houston. Yeah, no state income tax. But I got to deal with floods every time, right? Those hurricanes come through, my blood pressure goes up as soon as they talk about hurricanes. So that's the trade-off there, right? All right, so we got muni bond interest, the Roth IRA. Teresa, you remember another one? Teresa's looking through those notes. Come on now, you guys got to remember this stuff now, right? Fabian? Somebody said something. Fabian? You remember? Stock dividends. Not cash dividends now, more shares of the company. You own 100 shares of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg calls you up and says, hey, we're going to send you 10% more shares. See, that's not money. So the IRS doesn't tax that until you sell it. Then you generate a capital gain, which is money, right? So we got MISs. That's a good acronym. Munis, the Roth, stock dividends, 2 more. Always tax-free. Laura? Jenna Lynn? Come on now. Charlie? Daisy? Are you with us, Daisy? Judy? No? Life insurance, death benefit. What are you guys selling? What in the world are you guys? Don't you talk about that when you're talking with your potential clients?
Oh, we thought you were talking about investment tax free.
That's it. Wait a minute now. I said anything that you can invest in, and that could be when 2 business partners have a business. Guess what they buy on each other?
Life insurance.
That's right. To protect their
Interest.
That's right. You better believe it. So if one partner passes away, the other one gets that money. to buy out the family members. You don't want his family members hassling you and being active in that business. You don't want that.
There's
Now,
a special name for the business insurance.
Buy sell agreement. That's correct.
Yeah, buy sell.
Buy sell. So it sounds real special, but it's life insurance, right? Basic old life insurance, which you can sell to the people. One more, always tax free. One more. Now, regular investors don't get it, but corporations get it. When corporations receive a cash dividend, 50% of that cash dividend is tax free. If Kaplan received a $20,000 cash dividend because they bought some Apple stock, corporations can buy other corporation stock, can't they? Of course. So Apple pays everybody a cash dividend, regular retail customers, and pays Kaplan $20,000 cash dividend. IRS says half of that cash dividend is tax-free for you, Kaplan. So it's a 50% corporate cash dividend exclusion. So those are the 5 things always tax-free. Mrs. L, 50%. See, it's a good, quick acronym to remember. Make sense, everybody? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, let's talk about Unit 2. All right, so we've got some supervision going on here now, right? So you are a 26, soon to be. So you got to be careful what your reps are doing. Breakpoint sale. Breakpoints are good. Are we comfortable with breakpoints? We talked about that yesterday. Are we comfortable with breakpoints? Big check, lower the sales charge. You got to disclose that to people. But if you don't, it's called the breakpoint sale. That's a no-no. Excessive trading in a customer's account. The customer wants you to be able to trade in their account. So he's going to give you this thing called, oh, my pen doesn't work here. Hold on, let me get it to work. It's called discretion.
Discretionary.
Yeah. So he signs off. He's got to sign off now and give you this authority over his account. So when he signs off and says, I want you to have discretion over my account, I want you to pick the AAA. Now, you can just pick one of them, and that's a discretionary order. So let's say it's the asset. He doesn't know what stock to buy. He lets you pick the stock. You could pick the action. He wants to do something with Facebook, but he doesn't know if he should buy it or if he should short sell it. He doesn't know. He lets you make that call. So that's the buy or the sell. That's the action. And then he doesn't know how much to invest. So you pick the dollar amount, the amount. So we call it AAA. Now I also want you to be careful. They can change the words on you. So instead of calling the asset, they might call it, you can pick the security. Action is still the same word, but instead of saying amount, they might use the word quantity. They might use the word quantity. So I want you to also remember, you can sack the customer's account. So you can sack the account, or you can pick AAA. So it's the same thing, but just different words I want you to be ready for. So if you're picking any of these now, right, then it's a discretionary order. The principal, as a principal, you'd have to look at that order, make sure it fits the customer's objective. He wants tax-free. He wants muni bonds. He doesn't want corporate bonds. So even though you have discretion, you can't put a corporate bond in his account because he specifically told you he wants tax-free income. Make sense, everybody? So that's discretion, all right? So if you go beyond these limits, so even though he's giving you discretion and you're just trading in the account just to make commissions, then that's called churning. So you can't do that. Normally when you buy mutual fund shares, you buy them for a long period of time. So you don't tell the person, hey, it's February, let's buy some mutual fund shares in February, and let's get rid of them in April, month and a half from now. Let's get rid of them in April. No. Usually when you buy mutual fund shares, you hold them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You don't jump in front of a customer's order. Front running. You don't jump. You don't do that. You don't use non-public information before it's in the public domain. So if you know about something, but it's not public information, don't use it. Don't give it to anybody else. Trading on a discretionary basis and he didn't sign off, can't do it. He says, no, I don't want you to have discretion. Okay, you can't make him sign it. He buys some stock. The stock is dropping in value. You call him up. Goes to voicemail. You leave a message. Come on, Robert, call me back. Your stock is dropping. He doesn't call you back. Guess what you have to do? Let the account drop. Because he didn't give you discretionary authority. He hasn't called you back yet.
Can you repeat? I'm sorry, Rich. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Are you done with that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just if you can go over front running one more time.
Jumping in front of a customer's order. Yeah, jumping in front. That's kind of like you standing in line to go see a movie. Everybody wants to see this. So you've been standing in line for, maybe half an hour. A couple runs up front there and they jump ahead of you. Would you like that?
No.
Oh, you'd want to punch that guy in his throat.
I'm
just kidding. No, you wouldn't be that bad. You might step on his toes. Right? But that's the same thing. So you see a customer is about to buy 100,000 shares of ABC. So something must be up. Because he's buying a lot of shares there, right? You put your order in ahead of his order. You can't do that. Or if he wants to sell 100,000 shares, say, well, something must be going up. If he's selling that many shares, I better sell my shares. You can't put your order in ahead of the customer's order. Right? If you don't have discretion, you can't do AAA. You can't sack the customer's account if you don't have discretion. You can't use that word approved. I have been approved by FINRA to sell security. You can't use that word. I have filed with FINRA. I'm registered. I'm authorized. I'm cleared. Fund switching. If he wants to be in the stock fund, you can't just take him out of the stock fund and put him into the bond fund without his permission. All right? Of course, you can't commit fraud. Now, that's understood. We don't even have to talk about that, right? Selling dividends. You do have to be careful with this one because of that word ex-dividend date. I think we had talked about that one yesterday, right? That's when the market value drops down. And the ex-dividend date for mutual funds is 1 day after the record date. Quick review now. Quick review. So I want to be sure you are totally comfortable with this concept. All right? So let me get a clear whiteboard here. All right. So we said board of directors of a mutual fund, all right? They set the declaration date, the record date, and the payable date. The declaration date, they declare $2 cash dividend. The value right now is $50. If you want that $2 dividend, you better be the owner of record by that date. They're going to send you the $2 dividend on the payable date. Now, the board of directors sets another date. The date when the market value is going to drop by the amount of the dividend. So 50 minus 2, it's going to go X dividend. The value of the stock is going to drop down 1 day after the record date. The board sets all the dates. The board sets all the dates. The board sets all the dates. Now, the acronym here is DREP, D-R-E-P. That's the acronym. It's easy to remember that way. Now, that's for a mutual fund. Now, there's a distinction with the closed-end investment company. The board of directors sets the declaration, the record, and the payable date. And like just what we had talked about. But they don't set the X date. They know what the record date's going to be. They call up the self-regulatory organization, the New York Stock Exchange, the Pacific Stock Exchange, wherever the stock trades, FINRA. They call them up, and then FINRA sets the X dividend date, and it's the same date as the record date now. So now they're one and the same. The X dividend date and the record date are the same date, but the SRO sets the X date for closed-end or corporate securities. Closed-end or corporate securities. But if they give you a mutual fund, the board of directors sets all the dates. If it's a regular old mutual fund, the board of directors will set all the dates, and the X date is 1 day after. Is that all right? So, if you call somebody up and say, quickly come down, buy some mutual fund shares so that you get the cash dividend. That's called selling dividends. Because what's going to happen? Right after he buys it, the mutual fund share is going to drop. So now he bought high, the value's going to drop down, and he's going to have to pay taxes on the cash dividend, right? So that's called selling dividends. So that's a no-no. So don't do that. Don't even think about it. Some other violations now that have to be reported, and they have to be reported fairly quickly. within 30 days after the violation. So they might ask you about the 30 days now. So remember that number. 30 days for reporting violations. Any securities violation. So theft, you've been kicked out, the broker-dealer's been kicked out, you've been kicked out. Now you won't be, but somebody who doesn't take the course with capital. Right? You've been convicted of securities violations. You had to pay a settlement over $15,000. It's a person. The firm is $25,000. So all that's got to be reported down to FINRA within 30 days after you come to an end. I should say after the violation is uncovered, I should say. So after it's uncovered, boom, report it to FINRA within 30 days. Now, once it's resolved and it's come to an end, right, then every quarter, let the regulatory authorities, that could be the SEC, FINRA, let them know how it was handled, what were the punishments. So that's every quarter.
I have a
As it
quick
happens,
question.
Let them know about it within 30 days, as soon as the violation happens.
Settlement over 15,000. That's for per person, and 25,000 was for what?
For a firm. Yeah, for a firm. It's a little bit more for firms because they can pay out more money, right?
And I have another
Now-
question. And when it says any SRO, that also means any foreign equivalent, correct?
That's correct. Absolutely. Yeah. Because you could violate one of their rules. Absolutely. All right. Now, when you buy securities, all right, the principal has to know about all the trading going on in a customer's account. Even though the customer might give you discretion now, the principal still wants to know about it because it's got to make sure it fits the customer's objective. So typically, in theory, they're watching all transactions, typically at the end of the business day, right? So the principal watches that. The order ticket has got to be complete before you can enter the trade. Once the transaction is completed, a confirm is ready by no later than the settlement date. Now we have 3 settlement dates. Let's talk about those 3 settlement dates. There are 3 of them. There's one that we normally assume. If a person buys something on a Wednesday, today is Wednesday, then you put the order in. That's called the trade date. So you just put the order in to buy stock. It's called the trade date. So that's starting point 0. The standard practice in the industry, after you buy the stock for the customer on the trade date, the customer comes in the next business day. 1 business day. Every next day. So today is Wednesday. He comes in on Thursday. He pays for it. Red money. He pays for it. But the customer could say, I won't be in town by Thursday. Could I have a little extra time? So it's possible to give him 2 more days after regular way. See, this is the norm. So it's called regular way settlement. That's the norm. But he won't be in town on Thursday. So he asked for 2 more days. Now this is called regulation T settlement. It's got to say this in the question. It has to say that in the question because we default to this one because we're talking about the standard practice in the industry. So if he can't come in on Thursday, then we wait until Friday,
Monday.
skip over Saturday and Sunday. We wait until Monday, and then he can come in on Monday and pay for it. Everybody okay?
Yeah.
You got-
Now,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is this safe to say because we know when you do a trade, the trade doesn't do until the market closes?
Well, see, in theory, no.
At 4 o'clock.
What happens is, when you do a trade, it's real time. So you can buy something
Okay.
at 12 o'clock, boom, the price is locked in at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So let's say you buy some stock for $60 a share. Boom, there's the price at 12 o'clock. Market hasn't closed yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they've already completed your trade for you.
Okay.
So you owe the broker dealer $60 per share, all right? So 100 shares or 1,000 shares, but it's $60.
Okay.
Now watch this. You come in on Monday because you asked for Reg T. Now let's just say you did Reg T, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you come in on Monday. The price is now going up to $100 a share. Guess how much you owe? 60. Because it was completed on Wednesday, right? Right at 12 o'clock. See, that's real time.
Gotcha.
Forward pricing is with mutual funds. You come in at 12 o'clock to buy mutual fund shares, but they don't calculate the value until 3 o'clock. In my example, you won't know that exact price until 3.
Yes.
So you could watch the market dropping and dropping and dropping, but by the time they make the calculation at 3 o'clock, all of a sudden, boom, all the stock inside the fund, they pop back up again. All right. So it's based upon forward price, but that's for mutual funds. Stocks and bonds, that's real time.
Okay.
Right? The
Thank you.
price is locked in. Good question. Good question. Thank you for the question.
Can you go over regular way settlement again?
Next business day. It's real easy. Next business day.
Next business day. Okay.
That's
and
right.
then
That's
they
the
can't come
assumed.
in-
Yeah, that's
they
the
can't come
assumed
in-
settlement. That's the assumed answer now,
Okay.
right? That's the assumed settlement. But
Okay.
if the question says the customer is doing Reg T settlement,
Uh-huh.
then you add on 2 more business days.
It's
But
T plus
the question's
3.
got to say that now, right?
Got it.
See, it's got to say that. Now, there's another one that the question has got to say. It's called cash settlement. If he orders it on a Wednesday,
Same
he
day.
tells the broker dealer, I'm on my way to pay for it right now. Oh, he's coming in to pay for it on Wednesday then, right? So that's called cash settlement. It doesn't mean he's paying in cash because the broker dealer does not want cash. They're afraid of money laundering. People come in, yeah, I want to buy 1,000 shares, $60 a share, that's $60,000. Yeah, and I got cash for you. So that's a red flag right there. They don't want cash, but it's called cash settlement. That just means you order it today, you pay for it today. They have to say that in the question. The question simply says, Adela buys some stock on Wednesday. When does she pay for it? Thursday. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all right?
So the 2 more days is after the trade date, after they put in the order, correct?
Technically, the 2 more days is really 3 after the trade date. Because if they can't come in on Thursday, that's 1.
Okay.
Then they can come in on Monday. Isn't that 2 more? Isn't that a total of 3 after the trade date?
Yes, on the 3rd day
Yeah,
after
that's
the
right.
trade
After the trade date. But see, now I'm glad you brought this up because they could ask you this question about Reg T settlement, and it's 2 different answers. Now they're not going to be in the same question. They could say, when does Reg T settlement happen? When does it happen? Well, one answer choice is 3 business days after the trade date, right? Because that's trade date, then 1 plus 2. So that's 3 business days. The other answer choice could be Reg T happens, watch this now, Reg T happens 2 days after the settlement date. It kind of depends on how they word it. So you got to flow with the go. F word, flexible. Flow with the go. F word, you got to be flexible and look at the best test answer. You won't have both of them there because they're saying the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing to say 3 days after trade date or 2 days after regular way. That's the same Monday, right? So it's going to be one or the other, but it's 2 different ways of saying the same thing. It's okay on that one?
S plus 2 or T plus 3?
Yeah, perfect. That's perfect. Got settlement date plus 2 or trade date plus 3. That's perfect. I love it. You nailed it. All right, the confirmation's got to be ready by the settlement date, whatever that settlement date is. So there are 3 of them now. Everybody comfortable with the 3 different settlement dates? Everybody comfortable? I explained it clearly? Okay. So the confirmation's going to be ready. Customer's name is on it. The rep.
I'm sorry, Rich. Could you go over the last one? I focused more on the first and second
Reg T,
one.
Yeah, no, Reg T settlement.
Reg T
Second
was
one.
the third one.
The Reg T is 3 business days after the trade date.
Okay,
So
no, I
if
did the regular way and the Reg T. What is the third
Oh,
one?
cash settlement.
Cash settlement. Okay,
Cash
cash
settlement
settlement.
means the guy's on his way to pay for the security as soon as he puts the order in. Right?
Okay, same.
That's an instant settlement. Think of it as instant settlement. He orders it today, he pays for it today. But it's got to say cash settlement now in the question. All right, the confirmation is going to be ready no later than the settlement date. If he's doing cash settlement, boom, it's ready on the same day. If he's doing regular way settlement, boom, it's ready the very next day. If he's doing Reg T settlement, boom, it's ready 3 days after the trade date. What he bought, did he buy or sell? So those kinds of details will be on the contract. Regular account statements are sent quarterly, unless, watch it, unless the question is talking about penny stock. See, that's what you have to look out for. That's the risky side. Some young startup company. If it says that in the question, then monthly statements are sent out. But if it just says an investor has some stock, how frequently are statements sent out? Well, that's generic. So we're going with regular stock. So that's 40. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, normally when you buy stock in round lots, 100 shares or multiples of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. But you got the guy who's going to come in and says, I want 13 shares. What? He's weird. So they don't call it a weird lot, they call it odd lot. Right? And 50 shares, 75 shares, I want 102 shares. That 2 makes it odd. And that's okay, you can do it. Now they might have to charge the customer a little bit more because he's going outside the normal amount. That's like a basketball player. All of their clothes are custom made, right? Right? Because they're 8 feet tall. They can't walk into a department store and just get a regular suit. So same concept if you are an odd lot investor. All right, now we got some conduct rules. So rules that everybody follows when you're in the industry. So we got what happens if you violate rules. Well, of course you go and talk to a cop, right? Of course you do that. So that's code of procedure. So that's some kind of securities violation. Standard practice, settlement dates. Settlement dates. See, that's just standard practice in the industry, which we've already talked about. 2 reps are arguing over money. No violation now, but they're squabbling over splitting a commission. Normally the commissions were 50-50. But one rep noticed he only got 45% instead of 50%. Whoa, let's take it to an arbitrator. So that's kind of like going to People's Court. You guys know that TV program, People's Court? Never seen that? Usually these people argue over money, right? You remember Judge Wapner, People's Court, the original People's Court? You guys don't. You remember Judge Wapner one? You remember that one? What was the name of the bailiff?
I remember.
What was the name of the bailiff? See, you don't remember that. Get out of here. Rusty! Rusty was the bailiff. See, I'm older than you. I got that stuff planted in my DNA.
That was the first judge, so.
That's right. All right, disciplinary actions. Now, normally when you violate a securities law, right, you don't go to jail. The SEC cannot give you jail time. Now, the SEC can turn it over to the courts if it's a serious violation, right? But the SEC herself, she cannot give you jail time. But she can make your life miserable, right? Get you kicked out of the industry. She can make things real bad for you. So when that happens, then you got to give FINRA, give the SEC any kind of information that they want because they're investigating this complaint. They can make you give testimony. They can make you produce copies of documents. So anything they want, you always give it to them, all right? You never argue with FINRA. You never argue with the godmother. I call that the SEC. All right, now, serious violation. Serious violation. Code of procedure. Call the cop. Customer says money is stolen out of his account. Let's call the cop. Okay. So code of procedure is something that's very serious now, right? Now this is what it looks like. Complaint comes in. Now for the test, they could ask you, who hears the complaint? Now for the test, this is the answer. The complaint comes in to the Department of Enforcement. It's an arm of the SEC, arm of FINRA. DOE, Department of Enforcement. They get the complaint. Stole something on a customer's account. Hey, broker dealer, did that really happen? What? Heck no. So the broker dealer is given heads up on that. Well, of course the broker dealer is going to fight this now, right? So the broker dealer responds to it. Now that's the test point. 25 days to respond. 25, that's the test point. How long does the broker dealer have to respond to this violation? Somebody rats on the broker dealer for using inside information. Same thing. See, that's a serious violation, right? What? Somebody said we used inside information? No. So they respond to that. All right. Department of Enforcement, DOE, they investigate. They could say, nope, innocent. But let's just say they said guilty. The broker dealer could settle. Let's get this person who filed that complaint. Let's get them out of our hair so they could settle. But this broker deal is not going to settle. They're going to fight. So they're going to appeal 25 days. They're going to appeal to the council. National Adjudicatory, just remember council. They appeal to the council. So the council hears the appeal, not the complaint. They didn't get the complaint first. They agree with the DOE. Guilty. Good settle. Broker deal is going to fight this. They appeal again, 25 days. They appeal to the godmother. Mother hears the appeal. Godmother agrees with the council, who agreed with DOE. Broker deal says, godmother, you're crazy. We're going to appeal again. So they step outside of the industry. 25 days, of course, right?
Go to court.
And now they take it federal appellate court system. And they take it all the way up to the Supreme Court. So those 9 judges even heard this one. They agreed with the SEC, who agreed with the council, who agreed with the DOE. So that's it. No more appealing after the Supreme Court. So they had to step outside of the industry, all right?
They have 25 days on each.
Always 25 days to appeal. That's correct. 25 days to appeal. That's the test answers. 25 days to appeal. All right, so now we got to punish them. All right, so that's what they're talking about here. Now look, code of procedure, violation. Will be looked at and investigated. 25 days to respond to the first contact. If you don't, they send you a second response. You got 14 days. So you better hurry up and respond because the Department of Enforcement is getting very angry. Now there's going to be a hearing and decision. 21 days, have a hearing, 60 days to find out what the final decision. You could be found innocent, but if you're found guilty, you're going to do the appealing then, right? And the appealing looks like this. I want to come back to the other slides. I just want to show you what the appeal. See, just what we had talked about. There's the appeal. Look what we said. Nothing different. 25 days. Go to the council. 25 days. Appeal to the SEC. 25 days. Take it all the way up to the Supreme Court. Federal appellate courts. Everything we had talked about. All right. Now let's go back. So now, the complaint that's coming in. Go right ahead.
I don't understand the 14 days. So
It's just saying you did not respond after you got the first.
okay.
Well, they say, hey, didn't you get the first notice that we got a complaint? Hey,
So it's 20. So they gave it to you. You had 25 days, but you didn't respond. They will
you
give
didn't
you a second
respond.
one?
That's right. 14 days from the second notice.
Okay.
That's correct. So now you got to hurry up and respond now, right? Because they're getting angry at you, right? DOE is getting angry
Got it.
because you didn't respond to the first one. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Good question. Now,
Wait,
you could-
I have a question.
Right.
I have a question.
ahead.
So how many notices are they giving you?
Now here it's 2. You didn't respond to
2.
the first one, right? You didn't respond to the first one. So they send you a second. Well, now you got 14 days to respond. So you got to hurry up and respond to this second notice now, but you don't have 25 days to respond. You got 14.
So you have a total of 25 days for 2 notices to respond?
No. The first time they send you the notice, 25 days to respond. But you did not respond. They haven't heard from you. So they send you a second notice. Hey, buddy, we sent you this notice a while back. You did not respond to it. We're sending you another one. You got 14 days to respond now. So it's 2 different time frames. You're okay with that?
Okay.
Okay with that?
On there by subsequent contact.
Anytime after that, they want you to hurry up and respond to it. So they might have to send you a third one,
Oh, okay,
a
okay.
fourth one.
The information they sent.
That's correct. That's correct.
14 days.
You got to hurry up and get that to them. That's correct.
So the hearing doesn't, I guess, because I looked ahead where it was saying the hearing, you got 21 days to respond. So
Right.
after the second message, that's when the 21 days
That's right.
to
That's
respond,
correct.
and then you're going to start the hearing.
That's right. They start the
Okay,
hearing.
that's
right.
what was
Now-
confusing me.
Because now you've responded. Right. That's correct. You got it.
Okay.
Good
All right,
point.
thank
Good
you.
clarity. Good clarity. All right. So now you could settle. So you don't have to appeal. You can
Excuse
settle.
me, Rich, I'm
Go right ahead.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
So that hearing that will be held within 21 days.
After
that's
you
of-
respond. After
of-
you respond.
Of either one, if you respond.
That's right. Either one. Either one. That's
Okay.
correct. You have to respond before you can have the hearing now, right? You have to respond because they've sent you the notice. Hey, looks like you violated a securities law. Well, you got to respond to say, no, I haven't. Well, you haven't responded. Well, they can't have a hearing yet, right? Correct?
That is correct. So
Okay.
it's either after the 21 days or the 14 days.
That's correct. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. Until you respond, then there will be a 21 hearing within 21 days.
So if you think that they're correct, then I guess you just have to respond and say that you agree with them.
Yeah, you can go ahead and
Okay.
say, let's just settle this. Reality, that's probably what they want to do, right? Because they don't want the name out there, because that's bad publicity. But you got to remember, this is a test now, right? So the test says, okay, you have 25 days to respond the first time. If you don't, 14 days the second time. So you always have to remember, what answer does the test want me to pick? You can't start thinking, well, in reality, you can do this, you can do that. Don't respond at all. You got to give them the answer that they want. All right, so you could settle. So if you decided to settle, all right, then the council could say, well, let's make sure now you're settling, and whatever that fine's going to be for settling is fair and reasonable. So if you're going to settle, then that's okay. You can accept whatever the council says is okay. Waive the right to appeal, because you're not going to appeal. You're going to go ahead and settle. Then consent to any kind of punishment they give you. So that's assuming you're not going to fight. Now, if FIPRA comes in and says, hey, we want to see your advertising file, you always, the firm, not you personally now, right? Not talking about you personally, but your broker-dealer's got to have their advertising file ready for inspection. It's not. The firm knows it's not. There is no way they're going to fight that. So that's a minor rule violation. They got caught, hands in the cookie jar. Don't appeal that. That's the rule. Always have your advertising file ready. It's not ready, so say, okay, we got caught. $2,500 fine. You're not going to appeal this. That's like a nickel for you and for me, right? Imagine you run a red light, police officer gives you a ticket, it's only for a nickel. Are you going to go to court over that? No way, just give them the nickel, right? So that's nothing for a broker deal. Admit the guilt, so it's a minor offense. So you're not going to appeal that. But they're still going to send it to broker check, all right? So any kind of violations go to broker check. So anybody who's about to do business with you can look up broker check on you, look up broker check on the broker dealer. You're going to do business with you. So keep it clean. If you ever have to say, should I do this? Don't do it. All right, if you ever have to ask yourself that question, don't do it. All right, there's code of procedure. We talked about all that stuff. Okay? Punishments, they can't give you jail time now, right? But they can censure you. That's a formal reprimand. Fancy word for formal reprimand. They can limit all your activities. So if you're a principal, they can say, stop being a principal. They can make you stop being a principal. Now you can go back to selling Series 6 mutual fund shares. Or if you're a Series 6, they can say you can't sell mutual fund shares for the next 90 days. So they can limit your activity. So if you're a Series 6, and they say, no, you're suspended for 90 days. They don't even want you around the firm then, right? But if you're a principal, they can kind of demote you down to Series 6. So you stop getting all those overrides, right? So 6, make a lot of money. Series 6. You become a principal, you know, that's even super good money there, right? Right? So if they demote you down to 6, then you stop getting those overrides for 90 days or whatever that time frame is. Suspend your registration if you're a rep. Revoke it. If it's a serious enough violation, you're gone. Fine. No limit to the fines. the serious stuff now, when you violate a securities law, I mean, they just, man, they're mean, they're vicious. They don't want you doing that.
Now, Rich,
And do you know if the test offers like scenarios and we have to choose what would be the sanction or what the violation?
It's straightforward multiple choice. No, they don't do that to you.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness. Just A, B, C, D, and what's the best test answer? No. But no scenarios like that. No scenarios.
now, Rich, yesterday you mentioned the U6. Is that a testable part of this?
They could ask you that, yeah. So I want you to know now it's totally distinct from U4 getting in, U5 getting out of the industry, right? Or leaving the broker dealer. You don't necessarily get out of the industry, just leaving the broker dealer, going to another broker dealer. But then U6 deals with the end result of any kind of complaint that was brought against you. What was the fine? What was the penalty? So they keep that under that U6 file. So yes, U4, U5, U6. You gotta be careful now. They can ask about U6. So here's the penalties: fine you, censure, suspend you. They can do whatever they want, but they can't give you jail time. The securities industry cannot give you jail time. FINRA can't give you jail time. New York Stock Exchange can't give you jail time.
Excuse me.
The SEC cannot give you jail time. Yes, ma'am.
You just said the U6. Are you saying that the sanctions falls under the U6 form?
Yeah. Any kind of punishment that they give you, they put that in the file called U6. A sanction, a fine, a reprimand. Those are punishments, right? Correct?
Correct.
Therefore, they put them in U6 once it's all finalized. Yeah.
Okay.
So it can't go into the U6 during the process of investigating because it's not over yet, right? So we've got to wait till the whole process now has been finalized, and then they put that in the U6. Right. So impose any other penalty that they deem appropriate, but they can't give you jail time. The industry cannot give you jail time. If suspended or barred, the registered rep, the Series 6, may not be associated with any member in any capacity, even clerical. They don't want you hanging around the office. A principal could be demoted to Series 6, so they can stop you from getting your overrides. So you can still act as a Series 6 rep, but not as a principal. And that's if you've been maybe suspended for 90 days. But if you've been suspended as a Series 6, then don't even come around the office. All right, so there's the appealing. We already talked about the appeal. Comfortable with that, everybody? Talk to me now. I want to be sure we're A-okay. We're feeling comfortable with these concepts.
A-okay.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. I want to be sure that I'm explaining it clearly now, because I want, when you go back to review, and you see those key words, I want you to be able to say, he said that, pick the correct answer. Okay, good stuff. Communication. Now let's communicate with the general public. Okay? So that simply means when you send out advertisements and things like that, everything is going to be on the up and up now, right? So you're not lying about anything. You're not trying to commit fraud, because that's always a no-no now, right? That's understood. Can't you commit fraud on the weekend? No, all right? You can never commit fraud. How about on President's Day? No, all right? So that's understood. So full member communications with the public, advertising things, sending things to institutions, sending things to regular people. That's what they call retail. Sometimes they refer to regular investors as non-institutional. I like the way that they phrase that. And correspondence. That's going out to a small number of people. Now, what's the small number? 25 or less. 25 or less. So, any kind of communication in those three different categories now: institutional communication, retail communication, correspondence, must be based on principles of fair dealing, good faith. So you're not sending out anything that's trying to rip people off or defraud them. Sound basis: people can evaluate fact regarding products and services that you or your firm might provide. Three categories: communication, and we just talked about institutional. If the firm allowed you to create something and you only send it to banks, then that's called institutional communication. You're only sending it to banks. You're not sending it to retail customers. You're not doing it. Now, for the test, if you were to create it, then that could be pre or post approved by a principal at your firm. So let's say you're not a principal yet, you're still Series 6, and you wanted to send out something, some kind of advertisement, but you're only sending it to institutions. Then that can be pre or post approved by your principals. You can, in theory, now this is in the test work, send it out, then go and tell your principal, hey principal, look what I sent out. Look at this mailer that I sent out. Sent that out to 100 banks. Oh, okay. Or the firm might say, no, it's got to be pre-approved before you can send it out. So that's why it's pre or post approved by the principal. Now, if you send out retail communication, oh, see, that's a whole different ballgame. Because now you're sending it out to the average working Jane and John. Just average people now, right? So anytime it's more than 25 regular folks, that's got to be pre-approved. See, that's the kicker now with retail communication. That's the kicker. Got to be a little careful with that one. Correspondence. You're sending it out to people now, not institutions, but to people. But the number is not that big. So 25, 15 people, 7. It's a small number, 25 or fewer. That puts it in the category of correspondence. Now, both of those are within 30-day time period. So watch the question now. If you send 10 pieces out every week to retail customers, you say 10, but it's every week. Oh, that's going to be 40. Yes, that's retail. Yeah, but it's only 10 every week. Yeah, but 10 times 4 is 40. So watch that kind of trickery. Okay? Other types of communication.
One question.
Go right ahead.
So the correspondence, as long as it's fewer than 25 within a 30 day.
25 or fewer. 25 or
I'm
fewer
sorry,
within 30
25 or fewer.
Fewer.
It does not have to be pre-approved.
Actually, it could be pre or post approved. That's
Got it.
correct. It could be pre or post because it's so few.
Got it.
So the institutional, thank you for reminding me, the institutional and the correspondence have the same characteristics as far as being pre or post approved.
Got it. Thank you.
Institutional and correspondence. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot to mention that. Thank you. All right, now other types of communications. Public appearances. Now watch out for research. No matter how many you send out, a research report is so specific, you could send out 1,000 of them. It's not retail. It's just a research report because it's so specific. So just be careful with that little exception. Public appearances, principal's going to want to know now what you're saying. Could use your laptop, could use your cell phone. Trust me, I want to look at your laptop, your cell phone now, if you use it now to send out communications. Somebody else prints an article, and you want to use that article. Well, that's an independently prepared reprint. See, so now, got to be a little careful with that one because they could be talking about rates of return that the SEC won't allow. When you're talking about variable life insurance, the SEC allows hypothetical rates of return from 0 to 12%. Now you always have to show 0, always, always, always. But you could show 7. Got to show 0, but you're showing 9. Got to show 0, you're showing 12. Well, you might use an independently prepared reprint that shows a 15% return. Oh, see that's a little bit too high, so you might have to change that bit of information in this independently prepared reprint because it's going beyond the barriers of the SEC. Generic advertising. So no specific securities names being used. It's very generic. General types of funds that you might be talking about. Services that you might provide. No specific products. So it's too generic. So that's called generic advertising. variable life insurance, variable annuities come under the same banner because they're still related to securities. Still comes under that same banner now of pre, post-approved types of communications. Communications on variable products. So, got to be securities related as soon as you see that word right there. Must clearly communicate variable, securities related, any kind of variable product. Mutual funds, yeah, those are totally securities, right? Variable life insurance, connected to securities. You got to talk about liquidity when you're using the word variable because it means securities related now, right? So if we were talking about variable annuities, woo, hard to get out of. I mean, you can, but the redemption fees are outrageous. Some mutual funds, the B shares, have that back end hit. It hits you in the back when you're coming out. It's called contingent deferred sales charge. Boy, you got to disclose that when somebody says, I want a mutual fund that has no sales charge going in. Let's review real quick review now. We said that normally on the exam, they're going to be talking about the A share. That's where the POP number is bigger than the NAV number. Okay, so normally that's what they're talking about. What happens if you get a scenario where the numbers are exactly the same? The NAV is the same as the POP. So that means there is no sales charge. So typically that's going to be a B share, or it could be a C share actually. But if it's a B share, there's going to be a contingent deferred sales charge penalty. You come out too early, but it reduces the longer you stay in. You better disclose that every time you talk to somebody. Same thing for the C share. The time period though for the contingent deferred sales charge is only 1 year. B share, go right ahead.
So you saying on a B share, even though it's equal, it still has a contingent CD?
Deferred sales charge if you come out too early.
Okay.
Well, isn't that with the IRA? Don't you have a 10% penalty if you pull the money out before 59 and a half?
Yes.
Isn't that a contingent deferred penalty? Yeah. Well, mutual funds can have that because you didn't pay a sales charge going in, correct? When it's a B share, there's no sales charge going in, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So they want to keep you in there. So they say, don't come out the next 5 years, the next 7 years. See, that's in the prospectus. Don't liquidate, because if you do, you can't get 100% of the NAV.
Got
So
it.
if you buy something in 2026 and you redeem in 2026, which you have the right to do because mutual fund shares are liquid, that contingent deferred sales charge might be 8%. So they might, let's say you at $10,000, they could keep 8% of that $10,000.
Rich, when would
right? Or $800 that they're keeping. So you got to read that and you got to explain that to the customer very, very carefully and clearly.
Rich, when would a Class A share, like test question, a scenario when a Class A share would be beneficial for a client then?
Typically, the Class A's are good when those expenses are really, really low, and typically they are because they're hitting you up front for the sales charge, right?
Yeah.
So
Because
the
they're
expenses tend to be lower. Yeah, the expenses tend to be lower. Yeah. A lot of times now, when they give you a question where the investor does not need the money for 10 years, 20 years, then they could ask you, what kind of a mutual fund, A, B, or C share would you pick? Well, probably there, the B share is better because there's absolutely no sales charge. Not if you need the money 10 years down the road, because usually your CDCs don't go out that long. So instead of picking one where you have an A share where you have to pay a sales charge, You pick a B share where there is no sales charge going in, so there's more money going into the investment. Now we're assuming the rates of return are the same, right? Because just because it's a no-load mutual fund doesn't mean it's the best one, correct? Because now you have to look at the history of the fund. But in theory, all of the funds are performing the same way. The investor doesn't need the money for 10 years. Well, why would he pay a sales charge then, right? So let's go with the B share.
On the B share, so the sales charge is deferred or there's no sales charge?
After a certain, that's correct, after a certain number of years, there's no sales charge. So you can come out and there would be no contingent deferred sales charge. So let's say the time period is 5 years. I'm not just using that as an example now, right? You get it in 2026, you don't redeem until after 2031. So after 2031, if you decide to get out, there's no contingent deferred sales charge. Make sense? Is that okay? Is that all right with everybody? Everybody's comfortable on it? You feel good about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So you got to talk about liquidity, especially when it's a B share, right? Or a C share for that matter. Variable annuities, boy, when you come out too early with those things, whew, heavy duty redemption fees. Can't overstate guarantees. Variable life insurance has a guaranteed minimum death benefit, but you can't talk about a guaranteed rate of return. Not a guarantee. You got hypothetical, right? From 0 to 12. But that's hypothetical. It's not guaranteed. But they do have a guaranteed death benefit. So you're not talking about a rate of return. You're talking about the death benefit. Correct? Oh, what happened here? It looks like here comes AI is doing it to me again. Come on, AI, get out of my life, would you? Just dropped all of my PowerPoints. Hold on, let me get them for you. Hold on 1 second, I'll get rid of this stuff. Okay, I don't know why it does that. It just decides right around this time to just go ahead and click on all of my PowerPoints and just have them disappear on me. Crazy, crazy, crazy. See,
He wants us to have a coffee break, that's why.
That's what it is. Well, sometimes this computer stuff is good, and sometimes it's not. You know, it just it makes the paperwork. You know, you can keep stuff in your computers, and you don't have all the papers all over the room and everything. And sometimes that's good, but now the bad guys can get into your checking account, right? Because of this AI stuff. And so that's where it gets to be messy. Okay, all right. They're gonna let me share it. I'm back on with the PowerPoint, right? All right, so let's get back in. Okay, so where were we here? I think we're on slide number here, fly. All right. Okay, there we go. So we were talking about, here we go, these things right here. Yeah. There we go. So let's make it big. Use the big one. Hopefully AI will bother us again. Okay, so we were talking about guarantees. Don't overemphasize the investment portion of single premium. So some people pay their life insurance with one single premium. And that's okay. You're doing it. You're buying life insurance. You just want to pay one premium. So those variable cash values are building up. But you can't overemphasize life insurance as an investment, because the number one reason why you buy life insurance is the death benefit. So you can't say you want a good investment, you want a good investment, you want a good investment. Oh, by the way, it's also life insurance. You can't do that, all right? This is life insurance. And oh, by the way, little side benefit here. You got some variable cash values. You got to let people know they're buying. The number one reason why you buy life insurance is the death benefit. There it is, hypothetical illustrations, 0 to 12. So any kind of rate of return that you show, got to show 0. Any kind of rate of return you show in variable life insurance, you have to show 0. Suitability, critical. Very critical. Critical for life settlements. A lot of people don't need life insurance anymore. So they sell their policy to an insurance company. Ooh, is that the best thing to do? So you got to be careful now. You got to talk about the suitability of selling your insurance to the back to the life insurance company, and they give you a piece of that death benefit. So while you're alive, you can enjoy your life, right?
Hey, Rich?
Some people want to do that. Question, go right ahead.
Yes. For those rules on hypotheticals,
Mhm.
I thought it was between 0 and 9%. We can
Uh,
go higher than 9%?
For the test, you got to remember you're taking the test now, right? It's 12 for the test.
12 for the test. Okay.
Yeah, your company might make it 9 just to stay even more conservative.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's 12 for the test.
Okay, thank you.
Exemptions from filing with FINRA. When you don't have to file communications with FINRA. A couple of points. We're gonna get a little break in. Institutional communications, because you're just sending it to institutions. And in theory, they should know what they're doing, right? Banks, insurance companies. Press releases. It's only for the media. When you're talking online, but it's interactive. So it's retail communications, but you're not making any specific recommendations now, right? You're just chatting about the industry as a whole. Reprints or excerpts from that third party now, right? Press releases
Ty, close the door.
issued by closed-end investment companies. Just going to the press.
Ty,
Then retail communication,
close the door, please.
but you don't make any financial recommendations. We work at this firm and we do a lot of good things for you. But you're not talking any specifics now, right? Real specifics. Those things don't have to be filed. Make sense, everybody? All right, now one other point, let's get a break in here, and that's suitability, all right? Now, when we talk suitability, especially for annuities, variable annuities, they're very careful. They watch this very carefully. It's under the microscope, because the variable products in general, variable life, variable annuities, they're up and down now, right, with those cash values. Variable annuity, all the money inside this retirement plan, it's up and down. So these are highly supervised. So when we buy this type of a product, variable annuity, variable life, the principal's got to approve that application, make sure it's suitable for the client, right? Fits the client's goals, especially the variable annuity too. They can handle the risk with that variable annuity. They can handle the risk. The number one reason for buying variable life insurance is the death benefit. So they've got that minimum death benefit there. But you got the cash values. Is that suitable for the person? Maybe they should buy term insurance and put that extra money into other investments. And that might be a better place for it. We talked about the 1035 exchange, all to Allah. Now, when we're talking about annuities are like the B share. If you come out too early, even though you're exchanging it, there can be some serious redemption fees. Might not be a good thing to do. And then training and supervision. In order for you to sell any kind of variable annuity, variable life, you got to be trained in that product now, right? So if you are sick on Wednesday and the company brings the expert in to train you on all the pros and the cons of this variable product, but you're not there because you're sick. Client calls you up, they hear about it on TV or something, and they want you to come in, go over it with them. You're not trained in it, right? So technically, you shouldn't make that sale because you're not trained in it. So they watch that very, very carefully. Your variable annuities, your variable life, got to be really careful making those recommendations. There's this rule called Regulation BI, Best Interest. Have you heard about it? Have you heard about BI? It's out there. Regulation BI. When we come back, we're going to talk about it because it has 4 components that are critical. It's called Regulation Best Interest, BI. I call it the DCCC components. Let's talk about them when we come back. Let's go get some coffee. Let's take our 15-minute break. Let's get some coffee. Get a popsicle. Get a root beer. Not a beer now, right? I got to watch you, Les. Not a beer now. I said a root beer. Not a margarita, no glass of wine, none of that stuff. Come on back, bottom of the hour. All right, 15-minute break. Come on back, bottom of the hour. Come on back. Let's talk about this regulation BI as it connects to something we had briefly spoken about earlier, and it was code of arbitration. Remember that? That money dispute topic we had talked about? I told you we were going to discuss it. Let me show you this. Regulation BI came about June, I think it was 2020, somewhere in that ballpark. COVID, I think, had hit, and so the government had time to make up some more rules. Right? So they came up with this, and it said, broker-dealers have got to really be careful dealing with retail customers in terms of suitability. So we have to disclose anything that's related to having a brokerage account. Anything. What do you mean, Rich? Well, there could be a yearly fee just to have the account, right? Got to be disclosed. When you buy stock on margin, that means you borrow money from the broker-dealer. They're going to charge you interest. Got to be disclosed. So anything related to having the brokerage account. Most people do not want their stock certificates printed up. But if they do, there's a fee right, to print up the stock certificates. You've got to care what you recommend to the customer. Now, when we talk about recommendations, there are two general categories. One is called reasonable basis recommendation. That simply means certain recommendations fit some people, but not everybody. Then there is customer specific. This recommendation fits this particular customer, very good product. I don't know about anybody else, but it does fit this person. So reasonable basis versus customer specific recommendations. Reasonable basis just means, yeah, it fits some customers. It might be good for this guy, maybe 2, 3, 4 other people, but not everybody. But customer specific means this is perfect for this particular individual. So that's caring for your customer. Then you got conflicts of interest. Got to disclose those. And that doesn't mean something illegal, but it's simply saying if the broker-dealer is owned by ABC Corporation and you are recommending the customer buy ABC stock, you got to disclose. It's the parent company for the broker-dealer, right? The broker-dealer bought the stock 5 years ago, decided to hold on to it until 2026. They bought it in 2021. The game plan is, the broker-dealer's game plan was to sell the stock in 2026. Well, we're here. So now it's time for the broker-dealer to sell the stock. But it's a good buy for the customer. That's a conflict of interest because the broker-dealer is getting out of the stock. He's getting out of the stock, but they're telling the customer it's good for the customer to get into it. Not illegal, but it's a conflict of interest, so you got to disclose it. The C is more responsibility totally on the broker-dealer's shoulder. Compliance with all the securities laws. Compliance with all the securities laws.
Excuse me, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question. Can you
Go
go
ahead.
over that again? What the question was? You said the company is getting out of the stock, but they're telling
No,
the
the-
client
yeah.
to get in it.
To buy it. That's
Is
correct.
it? And but they say it's a good. Is it?
It's
Are
good
they
for the
saying that it's good
for the customer.
even though they're getting out of it?
That's correct. The reason why is the game plan for the broker-dealer. We're going to buy the stock 2021 and only hold it for 5 years, then sell it. That's the game plan. Well, aren't we in 2026 now? And
Mm-hmm.
in order to keep the plan in place, what does the broker dealer do with the stock? They sell it. They don't want to keep it beyond 5 years. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But they're telling the customer it's a good buy for them. Maybe it is going to continue to go up, but that's not the game plan for the broker dealer. They want to take their profit and get out. Nothing wrong with that. But they've got to
And so I
tell
guess
them-
that's where I'm confused. So that, and they consider that a conflict of interest for the test.
Correct. That's because
Even though
they're-
it's a good buy for the client.
That's correct, because they're on opposite sides. If you're
Okay,
telling the
'cause they're
customer
on
to buy,
opposite sides.
yeah, if you're telling the customer to buy something and you're getting out of it, it's just a conflict of interest. So you got to explain, well, why are you selling? So you got to explain it, because it
Okay.
doesn't mean it's illegal. You just have to explain why you're doing the opposite of what you're telling me to do.
Okay.
Make sense?
Thank you.
Good question. So this is what BI is all about, Regulation BI, because they're two distinct words comparing a broker-dealer to an investment advisor. See, they're not the same type of business. So broker-dealers come under this word suitability. When you recommend something to the person, it should fit the person like a suit. But when you are an investment advisor, you are in a fiduciary position. See the words suitability, fiduciary, they're different words. The fiduciary is a much more broad look and care for your customer. Now, it doesn't mean the broker-dealer is lying or trying to commit fraud. But the broker-dealer has got to make a sale in order to make money, correct? If you're only wearing the hat of broker-dealer, you have to sell something to make money. An investment advisor does not have to sell a product. They can do a financial plan, which could be just organizing all of this customer's assets so he knows exactly where everything is. Some people have life insurance. They don't know how much. Some people have stocks. They don't even know which companies. Right? They're not organized. So the investment advisor simply organizes everything, doesn't sell anything, but they charge a fee. So they still make money without selling, but they look at everything. The broker-dealer only makes money when they sell. So suitability versus fiduciary. Everybody's okay with that distinction? Everybody okay? Big difference in the words. So that's why investment advisors get to do some things that broker-dealers can't do, because they're on a higher level of trust. A good example of that. A customer says to the broker-dealer, I don't want to give you discretionary authority. You know, I don't know what you're going to do for my account yet. Okay, let's say that's January 2026. So the rep cannot do anything in the customer's account, correct? Correct? 6 months later, it's now July, the customer calls up the broker-dealer and says, you know what? Looks like you guys are pretty good. So I want you to have discretion over my account. Well, they have to mail him a form. He's got to sign the form. They cannot do anything in the customer's account until the form is returned and they put it into his account. Now they can start doing discretionary transactions. So far, so good? January 2026, the customer opens up an investment advisory account. Doesn't want to give the investment advisor discretion. They can't do anything in the customer's account. 6 months later, he calls up and says, you guys have done pretty well with my advisory account, so I do want you to have discretion. The investment advisor rep says, you got to sign the form, just like you did for the broker-dealer, right? But guess what? Because he called up and told the investment advisor he wants them to have discretionary authority orally, he just told them that over the phone, right? They can start doing discretionary transactions right then and there for 10 days. Now, they got to mail him the form. So they're going to get that form mailed out to him. But they can now start doing discretionary transactions instantly. But not the broker-dealer. See, the broker-dealer's got to wait until he signs the form and sends it back. But the investment advisor can start doing it. Why? Because they're a slightly higher level of fiduciary trust. Make sense? So there's a little distinction now with those words, suitability versus fiduciary. So we're talking suitability here with Regulation BI, because it's more a closer investigation of broker-dealer activity compared to investment advisor activity. It's okay on that one, everybody? All right? All right, good stuff. All right, so recommendations to...
I have a question, Rich. I have a question.
Go right ahead.
So on the discretionary, so you're saying that once they give the client gives the broker dealer or the investment advisor discretionary account, then that they can make all type of changes that they want to for them. They can do investments.
The AAA, but it's got to fit his objective now, right? They can't just do anything in his account, right? It's got to fit his objective. So, for example, if he tells the broker dealer or the investment advisor, "I'm a stock guy," well, they better not buy him bonds then, right?
Right.
Correct? "I'm a bond guy." They better not buy him stock then. So there's certain parameters they have to follow. Those are the objectives.
But they don't have to constantly call and ask permission once you
correct
to get to do things.
Once he's now the investment advisor, the customer can give him oral okay, right?
That was the next one. So oral, and he can do that one, but they still have to send the form out.
That's correct.
And they have 10. He can only do that orally for 10 days.
That's right.
And after
That's
that,
right. If he doesn't send it back, they stop doing discretionary transactions after 10 days.
Okay.
That's correct.
okay.
That's correct. See,
Thank
but
you.
it's different. See, the broker dealer can't do anything until he mails the form back, right? What happens if he takes 30 days? They haven't done any discretionary transactions, correct? The broker dealer, correct? But if it's an investment advisor, he's done discretionary transactions for 10. Now, he hasn't sent it back for 30 days. They stop at day 10, business day 10, and then they stop doing transactions for 20 days. Then he's mailed it back to them. Then they can get back to doing discretionary transactions. See, that's an investment advisor. See, that's why they're different. They're not exactly the same type of business operation.
So, Rich, is there a any sort of validation that's required for this oral permission for the investment advisor to function in that way for 10 days, like a recording or anything like that?
You know, everything is recorded now, right? Yeah, everything is recorded. Yeah, they're going to CYA, cover their assets, right? Yeah, they're going to cover their assets. So yeah, everything is recorded, but in the test world, he doesn't have to sign the documentation. He can just call up and say, "I want you to have it." That'll start it. That'll start discretionary authority for 10 days. 10 days. All right. So you've got the recommendations to retail customers. Look, they call them non-institutional accounts. So we need to know some things, all right? So that's where getting to know the customer's objectives kick in. We had talked about pig and salt. Those are objectives. So financial institution or their financial situation. So what's their financial situation? How much money is coming in the front door? How much money is going out? What's your net worth? Tax status? So these are the typical things you want to talk to the customer about. You handle the market going up and down. Nope. Well, you don't want to put them in the mutual funds then. Nothing that's variable if you can't handle the market going up and down. Make sense, everybody? All right. Third-party authorization. That's discretionary authority, or the rep, or the investment advisor rep. Now, the customer may not want to give it to the rep. Oh, the customer might give this authority to trade in his account to the investment advisor. So he's got a registered rep at a broker-dealer. He's got an investment advisor. Now he's got a brokerage account and an investment advisory account. But he wants the investment advisor to be able to do transactions in his brokerage account. So he can give the investment advisor power of attorney. Because the investment advisor is not watching over the brokerage account. He's got an investment advisory account. See, that's different, a whole different animal. But if he wants the advisor to be able to go into his brokerage account, then he can tell him, "I want you to buy stock for me in my brokerage account. Let me do the selling. So don't you sell anything." So he could put a limited capacity on his investment advisor to only do the buying in his brokerage account. He tells the broker dealer, "Now my investment advisor is going to call you up, and it's okay for him to do the buying in my account." See, they've got to tell the broker dealer that this third party is going to call up and do some transactions. So he's got to get that known to the broker dealer. He might tell the investment advisor only do the selling. or he might give him full power of attorney. Then the
Rich,
investment
I have a
advisor
question.
can call up the broker-dealer and do buying and selling. Go right ahead.
I have a question in regards to that. Is that verbal or do they need something to be signed?
Yeah, it's got to be signed. If he gives the investment advisor power of attorney, you don't just orally do any of these things.
Yeah.
You've got to put that in writing.
Okay.
And he's got to tell the broker-dealer now this person's going to call up and they can only buy. So he instructs the broker-dealer to allow that person that authority because he does have power of attorney. The broker-dealer might call up the investment advisor, wants to get a copy of that document. So see, it's a little bit different. It's not full discretionary authority because the investment advisor's got the advisory account, but he's got a brokerage account someplace else. So see, it's two different accounts. Make sense?
Yeah.
There's that word fiduciary, position of trust. That's more on the side of investment advisor. Suitability is more on the broker-dealer side. When you, the broker-dealer, when you call somebody up and you solicit this person to buy something, you better know everything about this individual now. Because you're soliciting them to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know squat about this person, that's a cold call, right? You can't solicit them to buy stuff just cold like that. So you got to talk to them first before you make some kind of recommendation. But if they call you up, that's called unsolicited. So that means a person could call you up from another state. Let's say I'm in Texas. Let's say I'm in Texas. Your broker-dealer's here in Texas. A person from Florida could call you up and say, hey, I got your name from my cousin. Oh, really? That's great. How can I help you? See, that's unsolicited now, right? The person says, I want to buy some municipal bonds. Now, reality, you better find out what the person's tax bracket is. You better find out what their objectives are, right? That's reality. Let's step away from reality. The test rule says, since he called you up, you can do the transaction for him. You might be in a 10% tax bracket. Low tax brackets are not good for people interested in municipal bonds. Municipal bonds are better for that individual in 37% bracket. Our highest bracket is 37, 35%, somewhere up there. But not for 10%. You're not getting as much bang for your buck because you don't pay a lot in taxes anyway, right? Right? So why would you want something tax-free? Let's get something that's taxable because usually the return is a lot higher than a tax-free. And you keep 90% of it anyway, right? You're in a 10% tax bracket. But if he calls you up in the test road, you can go ahead and do the transaction.
What if they don't agree with your recommendation, Rich?
As far as solicitation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say you recommend something, but they're like,
Yeah.
nope, I want something more
I don't
aggressive.
want That's okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. They don't have to take your recommendation now, right?
But would you mark that unsolicited then? That
No,
trade
if you recommend muni bonds, you can tell the guy, hey, you're in the 37% bracket and you're looking for current income. You need some municipal bonds. He says, no, I don't think so. I want corporate bonds, right? They're taxable, right? He says, well, why? He says, I love paying taxes. So right there, you say, well, okay, if that's what you want to do, then that's unsolicited.
Okay.
I think munis are better for you. See, that's solicited, right? So if you solicit him, then you got to know everything about the person. I joke and say even his shoe size. Now, technically, you don't, right? But if you solicit somebody, you got to know everything about this person. But if it's unsolicited, then in the test world, you can just do it, even though you know he's in the 10% tax bracket. Now, in reality, you would have him sign off saying that you told him it wasn't good for him, right? See, you got a CYA, but that's reality. So we're talking about the example. We already talked discretion, correct? Are we okay with AAA? Also called SAQ now, right? Security Action Quantity. You pick any one of those. You don't have to pick all three, but just any one of them. That's a discretionary order. Principal's got to look at that after you do the transaction. So normally it's at the end of the business day. The principal is responsible to look at all discretionary orders that have been done, just to make sure suitability is in place. If the customer's a stock guy, you should only buy him stock in his discretionary account. You bought him some bonds. the principal's going to say, kick it out, get rid of those bonds. That's not suitable. He told you he's a stock guy. So it's on the principal's shoulders to make sure that all discretionary transactions fit the customer. When an investment advisor bundles the services that they're going to provide, I think we had mentioned GEM, give advice, execute trades, and manage accounts, GEM. That's a bundling concept. So the bundling is called a wrap account. So that's where the investment advisor is going to do all the services for you and wrap it up in one fee. So they call them wrap accounts. GEM, I like to think of it as GEM, or it could be ABC, all right? Accounts, that's your actions, your business, and you're compensated. You give advice, the A is advice, that's your normal business, and you're compensated, ABC. Same thing as GEM. Give advice, execute trades for the customer, and manage the account for a fee. So when the advisor is a small advisor, they might only do the financial plan. They might not do the execute. So they don't offer wrap accounts. It could be a small advisor. Make sense, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? When a broker-dealer wears both hats, broker-dealer says, I want to sell you something. All right, suitability. He says, I don't want to buy any securities. I need a financial plan done. Broker-dealer says, whoa, takes off the broker-dealer hat, puts on the investment advisor hat. Broker-dealer better have 2 registrations. One for broker-dealer, customer doesn't want the broker-dealer services. Boom, he's got the other hat. One for investment advisor. The big firms wear both hats. Make sense, everybody? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, here we go. Ira, you ready? Ira, you ready? Talk to me now.
I'm ready.
Okay, come on, Ira. Here we go. Would you need discretionary authority if the customer calls you up, Ira, and says, hey, Ira, the market is falling. We're going to die. We're all going to perish. That's his belief. He calls you up. Then he tells you, sell everything in my account. Do you need discretionary authority for that?
No.
No, because you got it. You nailed it. No, because he's told you everything. He told you sell, there's the action, 100%. Here's the quantity. And everything in the account. So he's telling you all the securities in the account, right? Oh, you don't need discretion for that.
I better know it.
You're
better
on the
write
road.
a note.
That's right.
On the note.
All right, Ira, you're on the road. Come on, Ira. The customer code. Oh, I nailed that one. I accidentally hit the button on that one, Ira. You were gonna say the correction. The customer calls you up and says the correction is nerve-wracking, Ira. Please liquidate the weaker positions in my account. Now, I accidentally clicked the button. Why would you need discretion for that one, Ira? Why?
Because you don't know which ones are which.
That's right. He didn't tell you which securities to pick. That's why you need discretion there. Come on, Ira, you're doing it great. You're batting 1,000, young man. The customer calls you up and says, Ira, buy me 100 shares of the best retailer available. What do you think?
Discretion.
No.
No, it's discretion.
Did he name the company, Ira?
Needs discretion.
He did not name the company. So therefore, you're going to pick the company. Well, if you're picking the company, you're picking the specific stock. Correct?
Yes.
Aren't you picking the asset then?
Yes.
Therefore, you
Yes.
need discretion, right?
Discretion.
Anybody else thought you didn't need discretion on that one? Talk to me now. Who else thought no?
Me.
Tell me why. Tell me why. If he lets you pick the company, he didn't name Best Buy, he didn't name Apple, he didn't name eBay. He just said best retailer. Well, you got to pick the asset then, right?
Yeah, the number of shares.
Well, he can pick the quantity.
Yeah.
And he can pick the action, but he left one A out. He didn't name the asset.
Yeah.
He didn't name the specific security, meaning the specific company, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a discretionary choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch that now. Watch that. How about this one? How about this one? The customer says, sell all the shares in my account. Price below $10 a share.
It's non-discretion.
Not discretion. Yeah. See, so there he says, yeah, he's telling you, sell. So he's chosen the action. All the shares. Now, indirectly, he told you which one by saying below $10. How about this one? Sell half the shares of buy stock from my account.
Non-discretion.
No, yeah, you don't need discretion because he says sell. He's picking the action. How many? 50%. And he's telling you the name of the company. Make sense? Ira, how about this last one here? Ira. The customer calls you up and says, hey, Ira, I need $100,000 to buy a new fishing boat. Sell all securities from my account to raise the cash. Say about half from stocks that I have and half from bonds that I have. Ira, what do you think?
Yes, it's discretionary.
Because he didn't name the companies there, right? So you got to look at which companies you think would be good for him to sell off. Very good. Excellent.
I have a question,
Go right ahead.
Rich, because I'm confused.
Talk to me.
Because this one, they didn't name the companies, but also the one where it says sell the shares, price
Right
below
above.
$10 a share.
Right.
They didn't name the companies in that one either.
Well,
Because I said yes for that.
Yeah, but he knows now indirectly. He knows all the companies that are priced below. Now he doesn't know them, by name. So when you look at them, then you're going to pick only those companies priced below $10. There's no other companies you can pick now, right? Well, he's putting a limit on the companies. So indirectly, you don't need discretion.
So even though he's putting the limit on, even though he's putting the limit on the
Which company?
bonds and the stocks, they're saying half.
Yeah,
It's
half.
saying half of each one. That's not the same.
Well, half now. Right here where it says, where is this? No, right here.
Say about half on the bottom one. Yeah, the last one, the last question.
Okay, so he says about
Says
half.
say about half.
Half. Now that's the quantity. That's the amount. He said.
So wouldn't that be the same as the $10?
No,
That's
no,
where
no.
I'm confused.
No, because he didn't say a specific price. He didn't say
Okay,
below,
so that'd be a
below
specific
$10.
price.
Yeah, see, he said only those below $10. So he's limiting what you can pick. You can't pick any stock that's $11, $12, $15. So indirectly, he's telling you specifically which stock to sell, indirectly. Whereas this one, he's not even saying any specific price. He just says sell some of the stock. So you choose which one. So that's why this one, the last one, is discretionary, but this one here is not.
So even though he told us the amount that he needed, that's still not considered enough information
That's
to
correct.
be not discretionary.
That's correct. That is correct. Because he's letting you choose any of the stocks. Just raise the money for it. So you could pick a stock that's $10. You could pick a stock that's $100. He doesn't care. He just wants you to raise the money for it. But here, in this one where he says price below $10, he's limiting you to specific stock that you can sell. But once he limits you, you don't have control of that. You can't sell $11 per share stock, $12 per share stock. But the bottom one you could.
Okay.
So that's why it's a little different. Good question. Excellent question.
Would have asked that if he would have said, instead of saying all, if he would have said sell some of the shares in my account price below $10,
That's
then
right.
it would have been discretion.
It's still the same thing. If he says sell some of the shares, I'm sorry, I take that back. You are correct. Then you'd be picking the quantity because he didn't give you any
Right.
specific. That's right. So you are
You don't
correct.
have to pick what
That's
shares.
correct. How many? That's correct. That is correct. Oh, you guys are experts at this discretion. Very
So
good.
on this
I love
one,
it.
it's the verbiage. It's the
That's
all
correct.
and
That's
except.
correct.
Going back to the
That's correct.
verbiage. Okay.
That's right. But he didn't
All right.
say how many. He just said sell some stock and raise some money. That's correct. Or sell about half stocks and half from bonds. But he didn't say specific with specific companies. So you got to decide. Good stuff. All right. Now, a couple things.
I'm sorry. So discretion means you have control over everything.
Well, three three aspects.
Yes. Well, three aspects.
Now technically you do, but it's specific to three things. If he goes on vacation and he has not given you discretion, there's nothing you can do in his account. His stock could be dropping, correct?
All right.
Okay. He gives you discretion. He goes on vacation, turns his cell phone off. Now, he's a stock guy, so you see a good stock for him, and you think it's perfect for his objectives. Can't you pick the asset, the action, the amount, the price, and the time to enter the transaction? Can't you pick everything?
Yes.
When you have discretion, yeah. So it's not just the three things now. It's also including price and time. But those are choices you can make even if you don't have discretion. When he does not give you discretion, you can't do anything in his account. But when he calls up and he picks the asset, the action, and the amount, but he doesn't pick the price, then he can leave that up to you. That's not a discretionary choice. When you say discretionary order, it's got to be one of the triple A's that you're picking. It has to be one of those for you to use discretionary authority. If it's not one of those, it's not a discretionary order. So he gives you discretion, but he calls you up and says, buy me. He picks the action. $5,000. He picks the amount of money to spend of Facebook stock. Now, hasn't he chosen all three of the A's? Hasn't he chosen all three of the A's?
Yes.
But he lets you pick the price. That is not a discretionary choice. So that order is not discretionary, non-discretionary order. So even though there's something that you are picking, it's not a choice. It's got to be an asset, action, amount choice for it to be discretionary.
Oh, Rich, quick question.
Go right ahead.
For it to be discretion, the customer can say pick two, but because say he picks the asset and the action, and then if he lets you pick the amount, then that's still a discretionary account, as long as you're choosing one of the three.
A's. That's right. One of the A's.
Okay, so it only takes one of the three for it to be discretionary.
That's correct. And that's why the principal has to really look at that carefully, because it has to match his objective, the customer's objective. So just because you have the discretion doesn't mean you can do anything. For example, if he tells you he is a stock guy, all right, income could be his objective. So you're always buying him preferred stock because the dividend is only paid in cash, correct? Guys okay with everybody? He's a stock guy. Income is his objective. He doesn't want bonds now, right? So you only have bought him preferred stock because he's a stock guy. But here comes this bond. Good interest rate on the bond. You have discretionary authority. Guess what you have to do? Call him up first. Because he's not a bond guy, right? So the bond could be good for him. The interest rate is nice and high on it. It would be perfect for income. He's not a bond guy. He told you he's a stock guy. So when you step outside of that box, even though you have discretion, you got to call him up first. He likes preferred stock. He wants the big companies. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks. He likes those big companies. There's this little small company that's coming out. It's offering common stock, but they're paying dividends, income, cash dividends. Even though it's a small company. Guess what? Got to call him up because he's a preferred stock guy. He wants to know that that dividend is going to be paid. The big companies typically pay their cash dividends like clockwork. Here's a small company. That doesn't fit his picture now, right? So you call him up before you buy that common stock for him because it's outside of his box. He's giving you the box. Preferred stock guy, I just want cash dividends. Make sense? So when you deviate from his objective, even though you have discretion, you call him up first and get his permission. But if you're staying inside of his objective arena there, right, you can do whatever it takes to keep the customer satisfied as long as it fits his objective. You also mirror how big the transaction is. If he never buys more than 500 shares at a time, even though you have discretion, you can't pop his account for a 5,000 share transaction. He only buys 500 shares at a time. He's never bought more than 500. So you mirror the way he trades. But if you want to do a 5,000 share transaction, guess what you have to do? Even though you have discretion, call him up first. You got it. See, you're stepping outside of his parameters. Make sense? Now, a couple things. Number one, when the firm is involved with an IPO, initial public offering, the firm is not allowed to buy any of those shares for its own investing purpose. It's only for customers. So, if you're married, your spouse can't buy it. So you kind of infect that spouse with your securities registration. They can't buy it. Remember we had talked about the uniform transfer to minor's account? That account that could be opened up for the minor? Guess what? You've got a lovely daughter, a lovely son, 5 years old. This company is coming out with an IPO. Guess what? You can't buy it for your daughter's, your son's account. You can't buy it. So that's what this is trying to show you now, right? You cannot buy IPOs for your account or anybody closely related to you. So who's not closely related to you? Aunts and uncles, right? That don't live with you. See, notice this one right here, look, financially dependent. You got that aunt, that uncle that lives with you, and they can't buy it either. They're dependent upon you. Make sense? So that's what they're trying to show you here. Now, don't forget about subchapter M for mutual funds. Remember that discussion? Subchapter M, let's review it. I want you to be careful with it because it's a highly tested 26 concept. So I want you ready for it. Mutual funds can have all kinds of portfolios. They can have common stock fund. The name of the fund tells you what's inside the fund, right? The name of it. So we're going to have all kinds of different common stocks inside the fund. Some cash. So they have some cash in there for people who are redeeming. So we might have 50 companies. I'll just use 5 just to show you. It's all different companies, common stock. They also have a bond fund. Corporate bond fund. So all kinds of different companies, bonds, right? Just using 5, they could be 50, 500, right? Plus you got some cash. Now, the IRS realizes that these investments, the stocks can generate cash dividends. So the cash dividends coming in, the bonds generate money coming in, that's called interest. All these companies are generating interest. Well, the IRS tells the mutual fund companies you cannot keep all of this money. You have to distribute this money to the investors. But the IRS says before you do that, subtract out your operating expenses, the light bill, the phone bill, the fax machine. So all of this money coming in represents investment income. But when you subtract out the expenses, you wind up with net investment income. All the expenses have been taken out, kind of like your net paycheck. Now the IRS says you got to distribute at least 90% of the net investment income to your investors. So the mutual fund company keeps 10. Isn't it blue? Isn't all this money blue? You know blue is taxable. So the investors pay the taxes on the 90. The mutual fund company pays the taxes on the 10. The mutual fund company says, let's really make our investors happy. Let's do 95%. So if this net investment income was $1 million, 90% rule, 900,000 would go to the investors. They would keep 100,000. 950,000 could go to the investors. They would keep 50,000. If they wanted to, they could pass it all on to the investors. They wouldn't have to pay any taxes then, right? Okay. Now, the name of this rule, so in case you see it, is called Chapter M for mutual funds, or it's also called conduit. Conduit. Just in case you see it, get ready for it now.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you saying, when it's 95% or 100%, the 95% you only have
Goes to the investors. Goes to the investors. They pay the taxes. Well, if they only distribute 95, how much is the mutual fund company keeping then?
5.
Okay, well, they pay the taxes on the 5 then, don't they?
Okay.
Isn't it blue money? Isn't that blue money? Look. Aren't the dividends blue? That's cash dividends, right? Isn't that blue?
Mm-hmm.
You know blue is taxable. You know that, right? Isn't this bond interest? Isn't that money blue? Isn't that money blue?
Yes.
Isn't that taxable whenever it's blue? So you can see it, that it's taxable now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the IRS says, get your write-offs now. That's business expenses. They get to write that off, all right? So they subtract out the business expenses before they send on this blue money. Well, anytime you subtract something out, don't you wind up with a net number? Doesn't your paycheck look net from that gross paycheck number? Isn't it net? Social Security's been taken out, tax has been taken out, right?
Right.
It's a net paycheck. Well, this is net investment income. See, it hasn't been taxed yet now, right? It hasn't been taxed yet, right?
Right.
So it's blue. So they have to send the minimum that they have to send. If it's $1 million, look, $1 million. $1 million now, that's 1 million. That's 1,000. So $1 million, they have to pass on 900,000, right? Isn't 90% of $1 million 900,000? Well, don't the investors pay the taxes on the blue?
Yeah.
And won't the mutual fund company keep the 10%? Won't the mutual fund company keep 10%?
Yes. Yes.
Well, they pay the taxes on the 10 then, right?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. See, so that's why you got to read the question carefully now, because they could say, if the mutual fund company distributes 100%, how much did the mutual fund company pay in taxes then? 0. They didn't pay the taxes on the net investment income.
0.
Yeah. They could ask you, how much did the investors pay in taxes? They paid 100%. Because all of it was taxable, right? Make sense?
Yes.
So that's why I want you to be comfortable now with that concept. Okay, good stuff. Good questions. Thank you for these questions. I love them. Love them. All right.
What if?
So go ahead.
What if they only paid 80%?
Aren't they violating the rule? Aren't they violating the rule?
Yes.
Then they have to pay taxes on all of it then. Even though they sent 80% to the investors, the IRS says, violation. You got to pay taxes on everything. That's why they're not going to do that, because they know the rule. They don't play around with the IRS now. Nobody plays around with the IRS, right? They're not going to do that.
Question.
Go right ahead.
If they pay taxes on all of it,
Who's that?
Yvonne,
No, I mean the mutual fund company.
the mutual fund company.
Okay,
Because
so that means
they
they
violated the rule.
violated the rule. Okay.
How the customer is not taxed?
Oh, if they passed on 80%, isn't the 80 blue?
Yes.
You know, if it's blue, isn't it? Yvonne, you know if it's blue, it's taxable, except for Mrs. L, 50%, all right? And we're not talking about Mrs. L, 50%, right? We're not talking about the tax-free stuff. You know it's taxable. Come on.
I was questioning.
All right, now good question, but you know it's taxable when it's blue.
I got one more question.
Go right ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so I know you say they got to pay taxes on all of it. When we say taxes on all of it, we talking about all of the net investment income. Is that correct?
Well, if they made 1 million net now, right?
Uh-huh.
And they did 80% to the investors, right?
Then they gotta pay taxes on the whole 1 million.
Of
correct?
course.
Gotcha. All
They
right,
violated.
cool.
They violated the rule.
They broke the rule, for sure.
That's how the IRS punishes them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we passed on 80. We don't care. You violated the rule. Pay tax on 1 million.
Gotcha.
That's why they don't mess around with the rule. That's exactly why they don't do it, right? When they get that net investment income, they distribute 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Sometimes they even distribute 100. Now they can keep 10% to give their employees bonuses now, right? So that's why they might go ahead and only do 90%. But they're not going to mess around and pay 89%. Because the IRS is going to catch that, right?
Yeah.
And that's a stiff penalty because they've already sent on 89% of it to the investors.
Gotcha.
So they don't have the money. They don't have the 89%, but they got to pay taxes on it. So that's a heavy penalty there. So they don't mess around with that. Good question. Very good question. All right. We already talked about Regulation BI. We already know now. The D and 3 C's. So we got to talk to them now about disclosure. Care. Talked about all of that, all right? Conflicts of interest and compliance. Understand potential risk rewards, costs associated with any recommendation, disclosure, anything connected to transactions. Reasonable basis to believe the recommendation based on the retail customer's investment objective does not place financial or other interests of the member firm or the associated person ahead of the investor. No front running. Got care. Caring for your person, all right? Reasonable basis to believe series of recommended transactions is not excessive. So you might have the investor dollar cost average his investment. So he could give you discretion. You're always putting in $100 every month for him because you want to dollar cost average the investment. Remember dollar cost averaging? All the dollars divided by all the shares. That's your cost basis. And that might be a good way to go. So it's not necessarily churning the customer's account. So all that's part of BI. Your recommendations. Care for your customer. So if there are any conflicts of interest, the broker-dealer is
What
only
BI stands for?
best interest.
Best interest. Okay.
Best interest. Good question. Good question. And it deals with suitability. Now, when you're ready to recommend mutual funds and the customer's ready to buy, you got to give the customer a prospectus now, right? Before he cuts the check. So you can use a full prospectus, that's okay. Statutory, a summary prospectus you can use. The statutory is the full prospectus. But the summary prospectus is close enough to make the sale. So these two can be used to make a sale. Omitting prospectus is too generic. There's not enough detail in an omitting prospectus to make a sale. Not enough information. You give him the statutory. That's the full-blown prospectus there, right? This guy says, I want some more information on the investment advisor. Additional information. On top of what's in the prospectus. No problem. You send it to him. Anytime the customer requests something, you give it to him. 3 business days to get 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 it to him. So they can ask you how many days do you have to send out the additional information. You got the test answer. Everybody with me? All right? All right, here we go. Juan, you ready? Juan, you ready? Let's get you to volunteer. All of the following are penalties. Oh, you know what? Before we talk about this, there's one other thing I wanted to tell you. Remember we had talked about here. Right? When the customer opens up a brokerage account, there's something that they usually make the customer sign. and it's called an arbitration agreement. So we talked about code of procedure violation. Code of arbitration money dispute. Customer might have one of those. And you care about your customer. Regulation BI, best interest. Regulation BI, best interest. The customer liquidates some mutual fund shares. They were B shares. Of course you explained it to him. He liquidates them kind of early on. He finds out that his redemption amount is 10 grand. Totally forgot about the redemption fee. Let's keep it simple. 5%, just to keep it simple. $500. So he thought he was getting a check for 10,000. He gets a check for 9,500. Guess what he wants to do? Code of arbitration. Well, he's going to go to the arbitrator.
Yeah.
So it's quick. I mean, he could sue, but it's quicker just to argue over the amount. Hey, I thought I was going to get a $10,000 check. It's only 9,500. Well, because you have him sign an arbitration agreement, he can now take the broker-dealer to an arbitrator. So, code of arbitration is a money dispute. Now, here's the thing I want you to remember. Two firms can argue with each other over money. They can go to arbitration. A firm overpaid a rep. They want to get some of those commissions back. They can take the rep to an arbitrator. The rep was underpaid by the firm. He's supposed to make 50% commission. They only paid him 40%. He can make the firm go. The customer arguing over that little $500 difference there. He can make the member or the rep go. So anybody in the industry will have to go. A customer signs an arbitration agreement. And he can make the broker-dealer go. Now, here's the kicker. Whoever the arbitrator decides is right, wrap everything up within 30 days. Got to get it wrapped up. However, if you had two reps and they were arguing over a commission that should have been 50-50 2 years ago, well, why would that happen? They were partners. The partnership split up. All of their commissions were split 50-50. Doesn't matter who sold. It was always 50-50. But the partnership split up. One partner is being audited by the IRS. So now he's going back through all his transactions now, right? Because the IRS is looking for some extra money to tax him on.
Page 56.
And that's when he finds out, hey, I didn't get a 50% split on this transaction. I only got a 40%
Actually,
split.
page 48.
But it's 2 years later. That's okay. He can still make the ex-partner go to an arbitrator. Why?
He's talking about something
Because
that's
as
not
long
in
as
the
you
book right
uncover
now
the
that he's already
dispute
covered.
within a 6-year time period after the event has happened, you can make the other party go to an arbitrator. So 2 time frames I want you to be careful with under code of arbitration. It's a money dispute, not a violation. You have a 6-year window to take somebody to an arbitrator if you don't uncover it fairly quickly. But once you do, you go to the arbitrator, and the arbitrator makes their decision who wins, 30 days to finalize. That all right? Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go, Juan. Juan, all the following are penalties that may be levied under Code of Procedure. See, so that's a securities violation. Except, Juan, it's an except question, Juan.
The answer is C. Jail.
Yeah, they can't give you jail time. Nobody in the industry
I knew that,
will give you
baby.
jail time. They got to let you go to the courts for that one. Very good. Very good. Judy, you ready to volunteer? Let's get Judy to
He
volunteer.
did this
Judy,
last night.
are you ready to volunteer?
Yes.
Okay, come on, Judy.
Did he
Not
call me
picking on
while
you
I
now.
was asleep?
An illustration for variable life insurance may show a maximum hypothetical return of 12%,
That's true.
as long as it also shows 0. return?
That's true.
Paul.
It's true. True.
We talked about that.
Oh, true, yeah.
We talked about a hypothetical return. It is allowed. So you're thinking real world. I told you don't think real world now, right? That might be your company's policy, but you can't think real world. See, they can't base the exam on your specific company. So if you show 5%, you show 0. 8%, you show 0. 12%, you show 0.
Oh, okay.
We talked about that. Did you guys forget that already?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You probably forgot I was the instructor last night then when I showed up tonight, right?
How could we forget?
Real easy if I told you this. That was only 10 minutes ago, right? All right, come on, Judy. You gotta redeem yourself. Come on, Judy. Redeem yourself now. All of the following are true regarding institutional communication. Except, now remember, you're looking for the false answer now.
Just B.
So, Judy, which one is false? Which one is false now? Institutional communication.
Is that B?
All right. Yeah, because it's institutional, it can be pre or post approval. Very good. You redeemed yourself. Good job, dude. Good job on that one. You did a good job. Let me get Julie. Julie, are you still with us? Let's see if Julie's still with us. Julie?
I'm here.
Okay, come on, Julie. Let's get you to volunteer.
Okay.
A mailing sent to 10 existing
Oh, this
customers
one's A.
per week promoting an investment or service offered by the firm requires pre-approval of a principal. True or false?
True.
Excellent! Because that's going out to more than 25
Yeah, 25.
in a 30-day time period, right? You caught it. You caught it. Excellent. 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 Let's see if Donna's still with us. Donna, you still with us? Donna, still with us? I might still be getting that cup of coffee. Leslie, still with us?
Talking to me, Les?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Les. Okay, come on, Les.
There's a Leslie too.
Okay, that's it. You can take it, Les. Les, you can take it. I'll have Leslie take the next one, all right? So Leslie, you take that. But Les, you take this one, Les.
Okay.
A brand new firm. So brand new means they've been in business for 1 year or less than 1 year, right? Must file retail communication with FINRA. What do you think the best test answer is?
It's like letter A, 10
You
business
got it.
days.
That's right. Yeah, you see, you're new in the industry. So FINRA says, whoa, before you start sending out any kind of retail communication, let us see it 10 days before you use it. Now, if they say the firm has been in business 10 years, well, that's longer than a year, right?
It could be letter C.
Yeah, that's right. Then you can go ahead and send it out first, then let FINRA know about it. Les, that is excellent. That is excellent. You're going to pass. All right, Leslie, you ready to volunteer?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
I know this one too.
Regulation T. Settlement. That was created by the Federal
It's B.
Reserve Bank, not the SEC. So don't fall for that trick now, right? The question could say, who created Reg T? SEC could be an answer choice. Don't pick it. It was created by the Federal Reserve Bank. They created that rule for down payments when you buy stock on margin and how many extra days you get. They
You
created
get
that rule.
2 extra days.
So the answer is
B.
Settlement plus 4.
No.
so which answer is that? So
The
that's a
customer
C.
has an additional 2 business days beyond regular settlement to pay.
Well,
B.
if regular is 1 and you said you get 2 extra, then 1 plus 2 can't be 4 now, right?
Right, so it's B.
Very good. I was wondering if you were using a solar calculator. We're using a solar calculator. 1 plus
that's
2 is
it.
4.
We're done.
That's solar calculator there, right?
Rich,
Questions?
so I understand the question and answers and whatnot. And I know that there are sometimes there things are printed differently.
That was a meeting.
I just recently, not even 4 months ago,
better if I had
picked
the
this book
handout.
up. My book
Those
says
myself, jump around. He
in
talked about
answer
taxes,
A,
but
T
then
plus
he had
2,
passed
and
those
your
out
answer says
Saturday.
T plus 1.
So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he
so
sent
they
that to me.
tried
I
to
he had said,
correct it,
I'm talking about call Brady
and
tomorrow. But he said, well,
they
Roseanne,
wanted answer A in your book.
send it to you.
No, it's just that it
If
is
she wants
printed.
to, or
and
something like that,
the
he
2 is
said.
printed as
I'm like,
well.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta scan
it's
it
an
and
old
stuff.
edition. Yeah, I've got the
So
old.
I just
should
looked,
say
that's what's the
PowerPoint.
name of
Yeah,
it. I just
PowerPoint.
looked up
That
online.
would be called.
Oh, okay. So,
Good point on that. Good point.
He was
All
talking
right,
about
now I
how
got
he
it.
paid taxes.
2.
Yes, T plus 2. I'm sorry. No. Trade date is 0. That's the order date. If they say trade date plus 2, that's not correct for Reg T settlement. That's not correct. For Reg T settlement, it's T plus 3.
Or S plus
So
2.
your answer, Yvonne says, customers must pay for trades in T plus 1, correct?
mine says T plus 2, yours says T plus 1.
Oh, T plus, okay, that's why that is not correct. That's why what you see is not correct, because technically it's T plus 3. Now, if it said settlement date, then that would be
S
settlement
plus
date
2.
plus 2.
So I
For-
should, but
for
the
Reg T
answer to
settlement.
this particular question is answer
B.
B.
Is B,
Right.
yeah, B is
settlement
correct.
date was the next
The
day.
customer has an additional 2 days beyond settlement.
Settlement day.
Yeah, see,
Just
that's
the day after
settlement.
the trade date.
That's settlement
Yes.
plus 2. But
Right.
if it said trade date, that's trade date plus 3.
Okay.
That's right. So B is the correct answer. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, now, real quickly here, I just want to be sure now that everybody's comfortable and you're not forgetting stuff. So watch this now. Watch this.
We got 15 minutes.
Real quick. Let's get quick 5 questions. This is 26. All right. Here we go. 5 questions on the 2 topics you covered. So let me share it with you right now. Cross my fingers and hope AI doesn't attack us. Okay, here we go. Looks like AI has gone to sleep. All right, now we've got 6 topics. We've done the first 2. So let's do this. Boom. Put that. So we're going to pull some questions from 1 and 2 because we've covered them. Okay? All right, just a quick 5. So we got about 10 minutes here. So quick 5. All right? Quick. I know the brain's open. So we'll just do a quick 4. You'll pull 2 from each one. All right, Yvonne. Before citing the U4, a principal must verify the applicant's employment history. We talked about that yesterday. For the last
3 years.
3
years.
5 years.
It's 3.
Oh,
It's 3. Yeah,
3
so you
years.
got it. Yeah, it's
Oh.
3 years. That's employment. It's where you've been living for 5. All right? It's where you've been living for 5.
of 3, okay.
Yeah. Okay, come on, Yvonne. You gotta redeem
Another
yourself.
one?
Come on, yeah, you gotta redeem yourself. Okay,
All
here
right.
Oh, we talked about this tonight. Now look, what sanctions may be levied, put upon, just means put upon somebody, against a FINRA member, firm or
1 and 3.
person? What penalties?
Fines.
1 and 3. 1
Mine.
and 3.
And,
So we know it's 3 now. So you know that, right?
yes,
Look for the answers that have 3 in it.
It's
So
B.
it's not A,
not A, definitely.
it's not C.
No, it's
See,
not.
so now because you know 3 is correct, so it's got to be 1 and 3, or
1
2
and
and
3,
3.
which is B.
What's 1?
Censure.
Definitely not 2.
Oh, yeah.
You redeemed
Yeah.
yourself, Yvonne. You redeemed yourself. Excellent. See, that's how I want you to do the Roman numeral questions. All right,
All right.
Laura, still with us?
Putting
Laura, are you
everybody
still
on the
with us?
spot.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
fine.
or is that Edwin? See if Edwin wants to volunteer. Edwin, you want to volunteer? Edwin's shy.
I can volunteer.
Okay, come on. A registered representative, when recommending securities to a customer, must. Best test answer.
A.
Choices.
Have reasonable growth for believing the security will appreciate. Oh no, that's not it. Recommend only securities on the state's list. Have reasonable grounds for believing the security is suitable. Yeah, C.
You nailed it. Out of these answer choices, see, that's the best one.
And the last one was recommend only conservative issues. That's so.
Yeah, definitely.
Juan. Last one, Juan. Now, everybody's going to get this spirit. It's going to be the Juan spirit. So, everybody passes, but only if you answer this one correctly. You ready?
The pressure is on.
Maximum term length for which a member of a mutual fund's board of directors can be elected.
Ooh.
How many years? Boy, this is a good question.
It's 2 on
I believe it's 2. Ah, 5.
Ah, 5. All right. You got to redeem yourself now.
Okay.
You got to redeem yourself.
Give me another
All right,
one.
Hold
there.
on.
What did I rate since
I won't forget that again.
All right. You got to redeem yourself.
50%.
Okay, redeem.
Ooh.
So we're going to get 2 more questions. All right. 2 more. All right. This is good. See, this is the practice that you have to do now. Because that's just something that you got to memorize, right? That is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's memorization.
Okay, here we go. All right, Juan.
Here we go.
All right, so you get one of these now, right? All right. All of the following would be subject to the conduct rules regarding public appearances.
Okay, public appearances. Oh yeah, it's definitely D. That's just information.
Totally awesome. Juan, totally awesome. Very good. Come on, Ira, wrap it up for us, Ira. Come on. When a registered representative encourages a client to purchase shares of an open-end investment company just prior to the ex-dividend date, Ira.
That's a problem. That's C.
That's test answer.
No, it's C.
Just checking them all out. Ira, what do you think? You call somebody up just before the ex-dividend date and say, hey, come on down and get this dividend. What do you think, Ira? You can open up that microphone.
C.
C.
C. You got it. You got it. You
This
got
man's
it.
a- this
Those
man's
of
a
you brothers did
RVP.
it very, very well. Everybody's passing.
R.
Everybody's going to pass. That is superb. Very good. All right, everybody. Good session. Very good session tonight. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Some more
Yes.
fun. So get ready for some more fun.
Yes.
Okay, everybody.
Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good job. You have a good night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Item, thank you.
Bye-bye.